Hey everyone, it's me, Yvonne Emile Elizondo from Silver Moon Astrology and Transpersonal Counseling. And I am here because I kind of forgot to, literally forgot to record a video for the new moon in Cancer that happened last week. Oops. Bad astrologer, bad astrologer, bad witchy gal. I totally lost track of where our beautiful Luna was, and it just completely just slipped my mind. So yeah, sometimes that happens, right? Life gets the best of us and we get caught up in the mundane physical existence. Blah. And yes, so what I'm doing right now is I'm going to share with you the energy that we're going to be working with, that we have been working with the last 2 weeks, this Neptune retrograde energy. So let's take a look at the chart, and then as I share the chart with you, we can chit chat about what some of these manifestations of this now Neptune retrograde could potentially show up for you. So this is July the 3rd. This chart is for July the 3rd. Here we have this Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Okay, now I don't, I'm a traditional astrologer, so I don't attribute the Neptune as a ruler to Pisces, but I do feel that Neptune is very at home in Pisces and that it functions very well. So here's the other planet that I want to talk about, and this is this Neptune with Pluto retrograde. It's a sextile in Capricorn. I never ever thought that I would say, hey, this is actually a great placement for these two, but it is. So let's take a look at those two energies individually and see how we can use them for the next several months. Yeah, let's go from there. Okay, so let's start off with Neptune. Okay, Neptune in the chart, the energy of Neptune is very difficult to pin down sometimes because that's very Neptune energy. Neptune on a higher polarity is, when it's functioning really well, the qualities of Neptune when they're functioning really well is really about altruism and compassion and etherealism and psychicism and creative artistic energy. It's about connecting at the heart. It really has this, like, again, more ethereal quality to it, right? So there's a spiritual essence to this Neptune energy. Neptune is, it doesn't have any boundaries. It's outside of the boundaries of Saturn, therefore it can expand to the rest of the universe as far as it wants. Now this energy, when it's so expansive, it's wonderful because we can tap into that energy and it can make us spiritual and it can make us travel, astral travel. I was having a conversation with my brother about astral travel last night. It can really enhance our ability to move beyond our own either self-imposed boundaries and beliefs or boundaries and beliefs that, you know, society has created for us, and it allows us to transcend. There's the energy of transcendence when it comes to Neptune. Now, on a lower polarity, Neptune, because it doesn't have boundaries, can create limitless and lack of grounding. Okay, so a Neptune that's not functioning correctly, that's showing up on the lower polarity, those qualities would be hyper-idealism, lack of clarity, just kind of feeling like you're in fog. You can't contain fog, right? You can kind of see through it, but you can't see through it. So that Neptune energy can create, you know, some disruption in a foggy sort of way. Let's put it that way. So this energy of Neptune, you know, it can go, you know, either way. Now let's focus on Neptune station and retrograde. So the last 2 weeks, Neptune was stationed, which means that from our vantage point on Earth, because we live on Earth, yes, or at least that's what I think we do, we live on Earth. From our vantage point, when a planet goes retrograde, station to retrograde or station direct, it looks like it's kind of stopping in the sky and then it starts to move backwards, retrograde, and then it stops and then it starts to move direct. Now, planets don't actually do that. That's against the laws of physics at this point. But from an astrological point of view, what we see is that the planet is stopping. And when a planet is stationed and it's stopped in the sky, it is very strong in its qualities, whether direct or whether retrograde. And this last 2 weeks happened to be retrograde. Now, Neptune is now officially retrograde, I think, as of yesterday. And So what does this mean? What retrograde planet? Okay, a retrograde planet for me, in my experience, is one that doesn't function quite well. Its qualities have a difficult time either expressing themselves, okay, or they don't express themselves correctly, right? So where we would have this Neptune that would function really well, we could have, you know, the sense of spiritualism and compassion and altruism. When it's not functioning correctly, we can have a high sense of idealism, as I mentioned earlier, maybe lacking grounding, maybe being overly sensitive to our human experience. So Neptune retrograde doesn't function correctly. The other thing that happens with a retrograde planet is that a lot of those manifestations are going to have to be worked out internally. So it's like if life kind of gives you this blah, and you go, oh, thanks. And then you go, what am I going to do with this? And you have to internalize that energy in order to consolidate it, in order to work through it, in order to process it. Okay. All right. Neptune in Pisces. So Piscean energy is very similar to Neptunian energy. And that's why the planet Neptune feels very comfortable in Pisces, because they both share some of those qualities of compassion, altruism, psychicism, spiritualism. I think I said that one already. The thing with Piscean energy is that it's always kind of seeking to escape this physical experience. Like it doesn't feel comfortable in this physical experience. It really likes more of that ethereal vibe. That's why Piscean people are sometimes known as the escape artists, because whether they're escaping through drugs and alcohol, whether they're escaping through art, whether they're escaping through movies, okay, there's always this need to not be physically grounded in this human experience. So now we have this double whammy kind of energy of this Piscean energy and this Neptune retrograde energy, okay? Well, this Neptune retrograde is connecting beautifully through sextile, which means that the qualities of Pisces and Capricorn, Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, are feminine in nature, not female, but feminine. They're more passive, they're not as assertive, they're more internalized, not as externalized as a masculine type of energy would be. So when we get Pluto retrograde in Capricorn together with Neptune retrograde in Pisces in a sextile, these two energies are actually working pretty well together, which is not something I usually say about Pluto, especially Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. So what does Pluto retrograde in Capricorn mean? What are some of those qualities that could manifest, right? That Pluto energy, Pluto retrograde, is really about breaking things down, okay? It likes to come in and take like a hatchet to things and just break things completely down in order to transform them, in order to have the opportunity to recreate a new foundation. Now in Capricorn, this usually means anything pertaining to hierarchy, tradition, which is Capricorn, we're pretty big on tradition, anything dealing with like foundation, systems, processes, okay, work, anything of that nature that isn't quite working for you. This Pluto retrograde comes in and it just kind of cuts all of this Capricorn tradition and stability up in order to create a new foundation. So when we put these two planets together, this Neptune retrograde in Pisces is spiritual altruism, really wanting to move beyond the limits, transcend, okay, our perspective, along with sextiling Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. My guess is that the next several months, until I think it's November the 30th, when Neptune stations to move direct, it really is an opportunity to tap into our own internalization of our spirituality, our spiritual beliefs. What is it that's working well for us? What is not working well for us? In my opinion, if you're going to follow a spiritual practice or a religious practice, it might be a good idea to every once in a while tap in and ask yourself, is this still working for me? Do I still believe the things that I do? Or has life created opportunities for me to change my perspective? And if I need to change my perspective, what do I want it to be? How am I seeing the world? So spirituality isn't just about sitting, meditating, and lighting candles and holding crystals. Spirituality is very highly attuned to your own philosophical point of worldview, your life, how you interact with life, right? So that's the spiritualness of it. And so my suggestion would be, the next few months, you may come across opportunities where life kind of throws something at you, and sometimes it's not pleasant, because when a planet is retrograde, again, it's not functioning as correctly as it should. But even when things are tossed your way that are not fun or great or enjoyable, kind of like my last 3 weeks or so, it really is an opportunity to stop and to ask yourself, okay, what is this trying to teach me? What perspective do I have of this? How is my spiritual approach, teaching me? What is it teaching me? How is it teaching me? How do I see the world now? How do I see myself in the world? So the next several months is really going to be about breaking down those old traditions, taking a look at your spiritual perspective, your worldview, how you interact with the world, and internalize all of that, and go from here to create a new paradigm for yourself is basically what the next few months are all about. So now Neptune retrograde is not only going to connect with Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, but it's also going to connect with Venus through square and a trine, and then eventually it's going to hit the sun, opposition with the sun, and then it's going to hit, I think, an opposition with Mercury. And so it is, and then like the week of November 25th is going to be kind of an S show. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to, take place with Neptune. It's not just this easy internalization type of energy. It is going to manifest in opportunities for growth. And as we all know, opportunities for growth are usually not always easy. But if you have this spiritual perspective, okay, if you can really tap into every opportunity to ask yourself, what is life trying to teach me? What is Neptune trying to teach me? What is Neptune retrograde trying to teach me? What is Pisces trying to teach me? What is my mother trying to teach me? Okay, I love my mom, but what are we learning from everything? That is probably the energy that we will be working with from now until the end of November. So take advantage of it. All right, so let me give you an idea of 2 crystals that work really well with this energy, in my opinion. And the first one is selenite. Selenite, some people pronounce it differently. Okay, beautiful etheric energy. This crystal is known to help you connect to the ethers, angelic energies, if you'd like, okay? But it is a super etheric, very Piscean, very Neptunian type of crystal, okay? Super easy, but very, very powerful. And then tourmaline would be this beautiful tourmaline right here. Look at, that's a natural piece. Okay, tourmaline would represent this Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, because tourmaline is very protective. It's very strong. And again, the darkness of it just reminds me of that Hades Pluto type of energy. Okay, so these two together, this ethereal, highly connective crystal of selenite, along with tourmaline, which to me also has like an ethereal but more darker kind of protective vibe. Both of these together are amazing to work with. I use these at home. We use these in the office. We want to create a sense of grounding, of structure, protection, but we also want to create an environment of higher ethereal energy, spirituality. And so these two together are just absolutely amazing. All right. Well, that's my 2, 3, 5, I don't know how long this video has been, for my explanation or my anticipation of this Neptune energy and how it can manifest in your life. So if you want to learn more about your astrology, if you want to learn more about crystals, if you want to learn more about the magic, okay, and being a witchy person, reach out. I will be happy to help you and at least get you started. So you can find me at spiritual. This is very Neptunian energy. Like, you say stuff that you don't really mean, very Neptunian energy. You can find me at silvermooncounseling.org. Silvermooncounseling.org. The other one was my previous one, and I'm obviously still mouthy with it. But yes, silvermooncounseling.org. And I'd love to hear the last 2 weeks of maybe what experiences you had with this Neptune station retrograde energy. I could not get grounded. I could not feel like I had direction in life. There was all sorts of daily issues that were coming up, and I just could not find direction. And I felt very, very disconnected from myself and disconnected from this life experience. And that was, and then I looked at the astrology and I was like, oh, of course, because Neptune was stationed to go retrograde. How sneaky of you, Neptune station retrograde. And that's exactly what Neptune does. It's like fog. It's like you don't see it and then it's there. Boom. All right. That's it. I'm out of here. All right, everyone. Again, you can find me at Spirit. Oh my God, did you see I was going to do that again? What the heck? Okay, stop, Neptune. Stop. You can find me at silvermooncounseling.org. All right, I'm out. Before I say anything else, take care. Blessed be.